There he is, David Seaman, big smile on his face. David, good morning. I know you've been waiting a while, so I'll tell you on a personal level, actually, first. The first ever tournament I remember was Euro '96 with that bright red goalie top. I had it myself. I remember that quarter-final, you saving a penalty against Spain. Your memories of it?
No, Euro '96 was very special, obviously. Kit-wise as well, you know, the yellow one was pretty decent, but the red one was way out there. But no, fantastic memories of Euro '96, and obviously beating Spain in a shootout. And you know, I would take that on Sunday. You know, beat Spain on a shootout would be perfect. Any win will do.
I remember it being as well a brilliant penalty save. Give us a sense in '96 how much work you did on penalties.
Not a lot, if I'm honest. There was no water bottles, there was no writing on water bottles. I just used to do it on my own technique. You know, the way that they approached the ball would dictate which way I went, and I would wait for them to put their head down and strike the ball. Obviously, with someone like, you know, with some of our English penalty takers, you know, they don't even look at the ball, you know, so, you know, that would be a big mistake. But, yeah, I just used to go one way. I never stood and waited for the ball to be struck. I always used to hit it, you know, like I said, with Ivan Toney, it's a lot different. You know, he never even looks at the ball, he just watches the goalkeeper, and they are so hard to judge.
Just that point that you made then about Jordan Pickford and that water bottle with all the names that we saw in that quarter-final against Switzerland. I don't want to talk about Euro '96 like it was the dark ages, but did you have any data on where a Spanish player might put a penalty if it got to that point?
Not at all. No, it was all just natural. You know, like I say, it was just the angle at which they approached the ball dictated to me which way I went, and that was it. You know, and unless there was someone that did something really different, you know, like chipped it down the middle or something like that. But other than that, it was all down to me.
Let's talk about Jordan Pickford then, because he does his best to put everyone off as much as possible. I think he got a very stern warning against Switzerland as well about his conduct. Again, was that anything you went into, mind games of what you could try apart from just being there to make the save?
Yeah, you would try all sorts of little things like that, you know, and especially when the penalty taker's got the ball in his hands, you know, and as soon as he looks up at the ball, you want to try and make the goal look as small as possible, and that's why you see a lot of goalkeepers like with their hands up, you know, like trying to make the goal look as small as possible. But just anything, you know, if the referee allows you to go and have a, you know, to get close to the penalty taker and you can have a few words with him, then, you know, it works for some people. I wasn't one like that. I just wanted to try and make myself look as big as possible.
What about then England's route to the tournament or to the final this time around? How have you made of the way that they've plotted their way to this point?
Yeah, we've been okay. You know, we know we can play better. We know you know, especially in the group stages, we know we can play a lot better than that. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration came from the fans is, you know, we see these players week in, week out in the Premier League, and we know what they're capable of, and they weren't doing it as good as what we know they can do for England. But it's slowly getting better, you know. Even in the semi-final, okay, first half we played really well, and then the Dutch changed it and made it more defensive, you know, so it made it harder for us. But we're getting better and better, and it's about peaking in the final now. You know, we're through to yet another European final, and you know, it's great times, and I just want us to go that one step further. I want us to put that massive cherry on that huge cake that Gareth baked. And
do you think that those that were involved 3 years ago will be galvanised, will have learnt vital psychological lessons from the fact they've played in the final, felt the heartbreak, and now it's time to go one better?
Yeah, that's invaluable experience, you know, and it does. It gives you more confidence to go and taste what it's like to win it. You know, I never got to a final with England. I got to a semi-final, and that was a great feeling. You know, but there's the disappointment of losing, and you know, like you say, some of the guys have had that disappointment, so they want to go that one step further and taste victory and taste being European champions. And it's vitally important that they pass that on to quite a few of the younger players that have not tasted this yet.
We talked about the disappointment of 3 years ago. Perhaps no one will have felt it more than Bayo Saka. It must have been really heartwarming to see, particularly the impact he had on that Switzerland game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then obviously with his penalty as well, which, you know, for me, you know, it brought back a lot of Euro '96 memories with Stuart Pearce after he'd missed his penalty in the World Cup in Italia '90. You know, to see someone show that determination and the guts that he had to actually volunteer and take a penalty. You know, but Bakayo's never shied away, because as soon as he missed the penalty in the Euros against Italy, he nominated himself for the Arsenal penalties. So he's been taking penalties all the time. But, you know, to step up in a semi-final and do what he did just shows the quality of the man.
Did you get a sense back in Euro 96 that was something that Stuart Pearce always wanted to do, something that was still haunting him, and that moment and that roar that he let out against Spain was something that it was almost like therapy complete when he did that?
The only sense that I got was when I actually saw him walking from the halfway line. I was like, oh no, it's Stuart. You know, and obviously I remember what he went through. You know, and I've never wanted anyone to score a penalty more in my life. You know, and then when he actually scored it, and then he started shouting at the crowd, and then he looked right at me and was like telling me like to come on, you know, like save one. And thankfully I did. I went and saved Nadal's penalty.
And as you said, Gareth Southgate has tasted disappointment of himself later in that tournament. You know him well. A lot of criticism about England's performances earlier in the tournament. Is he the sort of character who would have always been confident in his own mind that he was doing the right thing and he was leading England to the right place?
No, I'm so proud of Gareth, because he stuck to his guns and he's done it his way. You know, yeah, you're right. There was a lot of criticism, and some of it was just, you know, because we weren't playing as well as what we know we can do, but we weren't getting beat. We were still getting results. We were still qualifying. Then we'll get into the next stage, and then the next stage, and that's what he's done, and he's done it his own way, and that's what makes it even more pleasing. You know, okay, some of the personal criticism, you know, we know it's affected him, and it would affect anybody, but he's dealt with it, and he's now got us to another European final, you know, so all the credit to him, and like I say, it just makes me feel so proud.
Just finally then, I think we're all trying to find things to take our mind off Sunday and just keep those nerves at bay for a little while. Fishing, very therapeutic. Give us a sense of what you're up to and the great work that the Willow Foundation do.
Yeah, that's right, you know, because everybody has a golf day for charity and that, and I thought, well, I'm going to change something and do something different. So I've got an actual fishing, well, 2 days actually. So it's a charity fishing event. It's on the 2nd to the 4th of August up at Linear Fisheries in Oxford, and it's for the Willow Foundation. It's a charity that's really close to my heart. You know, my great friend Bob Wilson is the president of that, you know, along with his wife that sadly passed away just before Christmas. But yeah, it's a fishing event. There's going to be lots of fun. There's a lot of celebrity anglers there, and I'll be there and hopefully trying to catch a big one.
David, thank you very much. Hopefully England can catch the big one on Sunday. Great to speak to you. Enjoy your weekend.